Hello, Soul Family. Welcome back to Undefined Life. It's Tash here, and today I want to talk about allowing for divine detours in your life, which will ultimately amount to you taking the route that your soul needs you to take in order for you to become the person you're here to be. So, what do I mean by this? In life, we all have goals, objectives, dreams, and as we evolve and grow, we will have new goals and new dreams that begin to emerge in our consciousness. And it's important for us to have these goals, these dreams, these objectives, these heart desires, because they provide us with like a compass and a bearing for us to move towards. But if we are too fixed on reaching that objective, on achieving that goal, on, obtaining that desire in such a fixed and rigid way that we don't allow for the fluidity and flow of life and divine detours, then we may actually be blocking our true soul development, our true and highest soul path and potential. And this is, again, a lot of the work that I like to do is weaving in the polarities of the masculine and the feminine. The masculine provides us with direction, objective, and likes us to take steady, consistent, rational, logical steps to get there. The feminine aspect, which we need to weave more into our consciousness to live soul aligned, is to be fluid, adaptable, flexible, in flow, responsive, allowing for the subtle intuitive hits that may say it doesn't make sense but go this way anyway, right? So let me give you an example just to illustrate this. 3 years ago now, 2019, I went out to India with the intention at the time to complete my 200-hour yoga teacher training in Hatha and Vinyasa yoga. So I flew out there. My ex-partner and I had booked 6 weeks worth of accommodation because it was a 4-week course. I paid for the course. I was ready to go, started the course, and then 1 week into the course, I had my Kundalini awakening. And the experience was so intense, so life-changing and profound, that I got completely wiped out for about 4 days, and I couldn't really function. So I missed 4 days of the course. And because it was an intensive course, by the time I felt kind of human enough to maybe think about returning, I'd missed too much to catch up. And so from the 3D human ego mind perspective, I didn't complete my objective. I had a goal, which was to go out to India and get qualified as a yoga teacher. And I had this other experience that at the time I didn't know was a Kundalini awakening. I just had this life-changing, profound experience, the most profound I'd ever had in my life. But I didn't have vocabulary for it. I didn't know what happened at the time. And to the mind, I'd failed on completing that objective. I'd missed the target. And when I was, I didn't know what was happening. So I just told everyone around me that I got really ill, which was sort of part of the process of the Kundalini awakening. I manifested a fever as part of it. But to everyone else that I explained that I hadn't completed the training, in their minds, it was kind of like, oh, well, you had this goal and you didn't complete it. And so what a shame, right? Like, what a shame that you kind of didn't actualize your potential in that way. But actually, even though it took me quite a while to understand the sanctity of what had happened and the profound impact it was going to have on my life, that was a divine detour. It wasn't planned. It wasn't a 3D logical, rational decision to, have an out-of-body experience that would change my life. But my soul had a plan for me that my ego could not anticipate. And so, although I didn't complete the 3D goal, I actually had such a deeper gift given to me at that time. And, I in the weeks that followed that experience, I had such a beautiful time in Goa where I was doing the training. And yeah, I didn't complete the training at that time, but I got so much more out of it in ways that I couldn't possibly anticipate. and it changed the trajectory of my life forever. And ironically, the kind of point of purpose of yoga and yoga training is to help us come into a state of union within. And that experience gave me insight, clarity, contact time with a sense of unity within my consciousness that I've never experienced before. It was just mind-blowing. I was in the presence of God, and that was the first time I'd really had that sort of experience. So it was life-altering, and it continues to be life-altering, and I will definitely be making a video specifically about my Kundalini awakening very, very soon. It's time to talk about it. But I wanted to use that as an example of divine detours, and how it's really important that we follow the breadcrumbs that are laid out before us by our soul, right? These intuitive hits, these inklings that we should go to this place, go to that cafe, travel to this location, go and meet that friend, send this person a WhatsApp message, whatever the kind of intuitive hit we get. We need to follow those divine breadcrumbs, but not be fixed on where they're going to lead. It's the mind and the ego that wants to control the outcome, right? Part 2 of this recording, because the beautiful cat that I'm house sitting for decided to just get all up in the camera and have some time in the limelight. So as I was saying, the ego is the one that wants to control. It's the ego and the mind that is intent on feeling safe, secure, comfortable, and therefore wants to work within known parameters. And, the territory of the soul is the unknown. For us to embody our potential as divine beings in human form, we have to constantly be expanding beyond our comfortable limits, beyond these comfortable parameters. And so, where your soul is going to take you and invite you to go, as I said in my previous video, isn't going to make any sense to your ego and to your mind, and you've got to trust it anyway. And so it's really important on our journey that when these little divine, these divine breadcrumbs are laid out for us, we follow them and we allow for the divine detours that they might take us on, which, sway or move away from the plan that we had in our minds. That's not to say that we abandon logic and reason, right? We still need to have a healthy balance of the masculine, which is pragmatic, with the feminine, which is flow. We don't want to be too anchored or attached to either polarity. We want to try and have a nice blend and dance of both to be truly balanced individuals. But we definitely, as a collective, need more of this flow, this fluidity in our lives in order for us to be able to actually be more soul aligned, to live more soul led. So in your life and experience, trust where you're guided to go by your intuition, and then use the masculine qualities of your consciousness, the part of you that can plan and create structure and routine and can be decisive and take action and work consistently. Use that aspect of your consciousness to work towards your intuitive goals and guidance, but along the way be open to additional guidance as you continue to evolve, as your dreams and desires continue to change shape and shift and adapt. The last thing I want to leave this video with is an analogy that I share a lot. So if you've been on one of my coaching programs, or you've sat in circle with me, you've probably heard this before, but to me I just really love it. So whenever I think about this idea of kind of allowing for the detours and the guidance of the soul, I imagine in The Lion King, Simba and Mufasa sat on like a rock overlooking the land that they claim is their territory, right? There's a line where Mufasa says, everything the light touches will be yours. And so when they're sat on that cliff top, they're overlooking the land, they're seeing the horizon, and it looks like so much land, such vast possibility, right? That's the ego examining all of the known territory that it knows, and it says, like, this is what I've got to work with, and there's loads of potential for me to work with. I like to define or describe in this instance the soul being like an eagle that soars above the lion, soars above the landscape, and can see that there's so much more than just what the ego can see. that there is a landscape, and there are potentials far beyond that which our mind and egos can grasp. And that's when we have to surrender to the fact that we cannot know it all. We cannot know every potential outcome. We cannot know every potential route to our highest path. We cannot know, and will never know, the beautiful, miraculous ways in which divine consciousness is going to orchestrate that which we need to experience in order to reach our potential. We have to allow for divine detours, and we have to not only allow for them, but actually embrace them if we truly want to live in the magical realm of being both human and divine, ego and soul. We have to allow for this kind of this merging of the mundane and the magical, and straddle both worlds as we continue on this journey. So I hope this is helpful. I'm going to leave it there. It's just a quick transmission today, but I invite you to allow for divine detours. Follow the intuitive breadcrumbs that you're guided to follow. Follow those intuitive hits. Follow those deep longings of your heart and of your soul. But don't be fixed on how you get to the outcome, on how you actualize your dreams. Follow the guidance, but be fluid and open to how those dreams, those desires, those objectives become a reality for you. Because it's really not our job to focus on the hows when we're manifesting and when we're creating with spirit. That's God's work. We just need to focus on what it is that we want, and then allow for the divine detours and breadcrumbs to lead us on the highest and best path. So thank you for taking the time to be here with me today. As always, please feel free to comment, share, like. It really helps the algorithm pick up my channel and share this message with more people. If you would like to work with me, I have a limited number of one-to-one guidance sessions available on a donation basis. I also hold a free Sunday soul circle on the first Sunday of every month, to create a safe container for light workers and starseeds to gather and heal together. And if you're not following me on Instagram, please come over and join me there. I share on there more regularly, although I will be on YouTube more regularly moving forwards too. So thank you again, and I look forward to connecting with you again really soon.